Owen's typical initial trigger sees him have a back and across movement from the back foot deeper in the crease. The position of the back foot trigger changes depending on the match situation and field placement. For example, you could see him have the back and across movement outside the line of off stump, and on other occasions you'll see him with the back and across trigger on the line of off stump or middle stump. Just before the ball is released, the front foot will step back, similar to a baseball player. As the ball is released, he then clears the front foot outside leg as he sets his power base. This is a key feature of his batting, as we'll see throughout. Here's another example showing Owen's trigger position. Owen typically sets up with an open stance, with the back foot around leg stump and the front foot outside leg. Being a power player, Owen relies on keeping a stable base to execute his shots. In these next few examples, we'll see the power and dominance of the bottom hand when Owen plays to the offside. Just before the ball is released, he sets himself into a power base position. As the ball is released, he clears the front foot outside leg as he sets his power base. He has an excellent power base position, as highlighted by the bend of the knees. From here, he slightly collapses the back knee, which allows for the hip to open up, from which he can position the body to target the offside. The opening of the hip also cleared the path for the bat swing to come through. At the point of contact, we can see how much the back knee has bent with it internally rotated. We see the dominance of the bottom hand as the bat face closes when he completes the shot. This shows the brute force and power Owen can hit the ball with, despite his limitations in opening the bat face with the top hand. Before the ball is bowled, Owen sets up with an open stance around leg stump. Just before the ball is released, he makes a premeditated movement by stepping the back foot outside leg. As the ball is released, he clears the front foot as he sets his power base position. He slightly bends and collapses from the back knee as he opens up the hip. Once again, the bottom hand takes over as he flicks his wrist over the ball. What we have seen in the first two examples is that Owen does not hit the area behind square on the offside as much due to the bottom hand dominance. Owen sets up with an open stance around leg. As the bowler is in their delivery stride, he has that familiar back and across movement from the back foot onto middle. Just before the ball is released, he steps the front foot across and back onto middle using that trigger that is similar to a baseball player. As the ball is released and just before he pitches, he clears the front foot as he sets his power base position. As usual, he has a solid bend of the knees and a high bat swing ready to execute the shot. He bends and collapses from the back knee, allowing for the opening of the hip. This allows him to get low on the shot and allow for the powerful bat swing to come through. After he makes contact, we see the bottom hand take over as he closes the bat face on the shot. It's another example of Owen's power and dominance of his bottom hand as he hits in front of square on the offside. Before the ball is bowled, Owen sets up with an open stance around leg stump. He then has the familiar trigger moving back and across from the back foot, and then the front foot moves on to middle. As he picks the line and length, he steps the front foot onto leg. The back foot then slightly collapses and bends as the hip opens up. This allows for a clear path for the batsman to come through. What is important to note here when playing to the leg side, Owen's head position is usually in line with the ball. The backswing comes through as the bottom hand takes over, with him launching the ball for 6 over the leg side. In this second example, we'll see the same process to how Owen targets the leg side. We see the initial open stance, then trigger from the back foot on the line of off stump. The front foot comes across just before the ball is released. Just before the ball pitches, he clears the front foot. As noted earlier, when hitting to the leg side, Owen typically has his head position in line with the ball. As he moves into the shot and makes contact, the back knee slightly collapses, which opens up the hip. This opening of the hip clears the path for the backswing to come through. As he moves through the shot, the bat face closes with the bottom hand taking over as he shovels the ball to the leg side. Although Owen has a dominant bottom hand and favours the leg side, he still has the ability to target down the ground in his own way. In this example, we see him have a bigger trigger movement back and across to off stump. The front foot steps onto middle just before the ball is released. Before the ball pitches, he clears the front foot as he sets his power base. He bends and collapses the back knee, allowing for the familiar opening of the hip, which by now we know allows for the batsman to come through. Here, the bottom hand takes over and he hits across the ball with the bat face opening through the shot. Uniquely, this slice across the ball means he's able to hit the ball down the ground with his forearms taking over in the shot due to the fact that the ball is full. In this next example, we see a different approach to hitting down the ground. From the initial open stance on leg, Owen shifts the weight slightly onto the front foot before the ball is released. In one quick motion as the ball is released, he skips out to leg and jumps into a power hit base, outside leg. Skipping out to leg creates the room for him to target all areas around the ground, and we see the opening of the hip allowing for the rotation and clear swing of the bat. We see at the point of contact, and moving through the shot how the bottom hand takes over. Due to the fact he's cleared to the leg side, he's able to target it straight, this time hitting the ball over mid-on despite the over-reliance of the bottom hand. When facing spin, Owen continues to set up with an open stance on leg, just as he does with facing the fast bowlers. As the ball is released, he will have a front foot press down the line of middle and leg. From here, as he spots the line of length, he steps the front foot down the pitch and begins to bend further and collapse on the back leg, while having the bat in a high position to sweep down on the ball. He collapses the back leg completely as the hip opens up. This allows for the batsman to come down and across to powerfully sweep the ball, from which his strong bottom hand and wrists take over for him to muscle the ball. In this next example, we see Owen change his approach and use a back and across trigger from the back foot around middle and leg. This approach is similar to how he targets the fast bowlers. The front foot comes across, and as the ball pitches, he clears the front foot out to leg as he sets his power base position. The back knee bends and side collapses as the backswing comes through, with him pointing the hips towards the leg side as he powerfully pulls the ball. We see a variety in how Owen uses different positions on the crease to allow him to use his strengths to target the leg side.